Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. Let's talk about Carly for a minute. I feel like what she did wasn't just foolish, it was irresponsible. It was irresponsible because not only you putting your own, your own money down the drain or whatever, and your children and everything like that, but, you own half of the hotel, and now you put damn near everyone else's jobs that worked there at risk. And this was when Drew told you it was a bad idea, when Michael told you it was a bad idea. And for some odd reason, she was like, well, I'm going to sit there and do it anyway, and y'all can't stop me. It was like, are you serious? And then she kept acting all smug about it, laughing like it was just a big joke. Like, oh, I, like, this isn't play money. This isn't Monopoly. She lost a ton of money up until the point where after Drew had to sit there and explain to her everything happened, everything went down at the meeting and everything like that. When her financial advisor came by, he was like, yo, this is bad. Because the people that she gave the money to, she kept sitting there saying, well, listen, I have 30 days to come up with the capital to sit there and buy back my shares or whatever. Or, her, thing for the hotel. I don't know if she knew this, but the guy was like, listen, you have up to 30 days, but they can sell at any point in time if they feel like the right buyer comes along. And I'm like, either she knew this and just forgot because she was just in her own little headspace, or she did not get the details. The sad part is that I felt like even if she did know, she still would have did it, and it still would have just been more than foolish. Um, and Drew was like, "Listen, I'll be there for you and stuff like that." And Carly like, "What can you really do for me? Like, how are you going to sit there and fix this? Oh, I could be a good emotional support. Oh, well, then that that's everything. Then you're going to be a good emotional support." So when they decide to sell half of her, and here's the thing: it's not to sit there and say that the company is just going to everyone's just going to lose their jobs tomorrow or anything like that. But, like, you don't know whoever these new owners are, what kind of rules they could sit there and wind up changing. As far as people pay is concerned, the waiters, the staff, and stuff like that. And what are you going to sit there and do? You're just going to come in with your, like, hey, listen, guys, I got some unfortunate news to sit there and tell you. And then after she tells them that, they'll sit there and look at her like, are you kidding me? But she took the emotional. So I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. When he was like, I could be there for emotional support, I was like, that sounds sweet and romantic and some romance novel. But I mean, people got bills to pay, so that really does not seem practical at all. Now, after Sonny took her to the hospital, I'm gonna be completely honest. Willow has been annoying me with this whole health thing because of the way that she keeps playing things down. And she does have a little one to sit there and take care of. But when she gets to the hospital, she's all like, oh, well, it's not that real big of a deal. And she doesn't really tell them. She doesn't really tell TJ everything. This is after, Liesel took a look at her and everything like that. She got to the hospital. She's sitting there trying to downplay a lot of the stuff that's going on. And, she's like, listen, let me just run some tests. Michael comes in, and after Michael acts like a dick to Sonny for no reason, um, talks to Willow, and he's like, "Listen, you keep trying to downplay everything. What's going on? How many times did you faint? Have you been feeling like this the first time?" And I don't know. Like I said, it's just been kind of annoying that they're watching her just downplay everything. Like it's just not that big of a deal. Like her health is just, oh, it's no big deal. And I don't know. That just irked the living hell out of me. Um, After that, Michael goes and talks to Sasha, and one of the things Sasha said was, "Hey, listen, because Michael was like, thank you for taking care of her and being there for her and stuff like that." And Sasha was like, "Yeah, it was Sonny that made sure that she didn't fall and I don't know, crack her head on the goddamn ground. Um, he was worried about her. He was really adamant about taking her to the hospital, and he couldn't even muster up a, oh yeah, which, again, this is really about plot of just finding a way for Michael to take down Sonny. And, I mean, this is something that we're all, I want to sit there and say we're all going for. I mean, I know a lot of people don't like Sonny. So they're like, hey, listen, if somebody can sit there and take him down, I'm with it. I remember a couple of years ago, we had that god awful version of Christina. And this is when I used to use Facebook a lot. And people are like, listen, I normally don't like Christina, but as long as she's not there getting up in Sonny's face, then I'm okay with it. And I'm like, so we're just accepting trash now at this point? And this is the second Christina. This is when Christina was, with Joey and like that whole mess and, how they wanted to sit there and do a reality TV show called, what was the stupid name of that show called? Mob Princesses. Or something along those lines. And I'm just I feel like history is repeating itself, except for Michael isn't as annoying as that version of Christina was. But, they're driving this whole Michael wants to sit there and take down Sonny. And I'm like, again, when Sonny killed AJ, you know, eventually he did wind up forgiving him. And I'm like, so let me get this straight. He killed your bio dad. And sometime after, you were just like, nah, it's cool. I love my dad. And now it's, oh, I'm going to sit there and take him down brick by brick. And I'm just like, what? I mean, how? He came in the hospital, and the first thing he said was, yo, did you make her upset? Did you make her mad? Did you say something to her? Uh, what? I mean, don't get me wrong. I like Michael, but even I was just like, bro, like, oh, and so my one of my thumbnails, or a couple of my thumbnails, was Willow being pregnant. Right. I mean, granted, the internet was right, if we're going to be completely honest, but I was one of those people that was right. So, yeah, TJ came back and TJ was like, well, it's good news. You're pregnant. So I'm just like, well, maybe now Willow will sit there and start taking her health a little more seriously, like eating breakfast or eating something. And I know some people aren't morning people when it comes towards breakfast, but you got to have something. You're not just going to be running on fumes all day. Oh, it was stress. It was this. It was. Come on, bro. I mean, let's be honest. I can't function without breakfast. Okay, because I know if I didn't have breakfast, and the mornings that I have with some of the people I have to deal with, pretty sure I would have been arrested a couple of times. So Lizo's not there talking to Ulbricht's not there talking to Nina, talking about the proposal, and Ulbricht was like, "Well, Scotty said it, at a in a win because he said something before, and he was sitting there trying to make me feel better." So basically, what she's saying is the proposal wasn't good enough. And, at first she tried to use the whole, oh, well, I'm an independent woman and blah, 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 blah. And I was just like, no, that's not. That's the first thing that came out of her mouth. And I was like, no, bro, try again. We're not doing this, okay? This is not a Beyonce song. We're not doing this. Um, and, Nina's sitting there talking about how good Scotty is. And, Nina compares Scott to, all her other exes that were, well, maniacs. At some point, Victor comes in. Anna leaves, and Victor's all like, "Oh, I still want to be with you," and yada yada yada. And Scotty, he's just not good enough for you, and you're used to being with men of higher caliber. And so she's like, that's the reason why you didn't say yes to Scotty's proposal. And I think at some point he winds up leaving, and so it makes me think how right, like, did Victor have a point? You know, did Victor have a point? I mean, listen, everyone loves Scotty, okay, but Scotty is local. Victor and Faison, they travel the world. They have all this different, I guess, culture or whatever, and they're just on a grander scale, you know, as far as a lot of things, and also money. Okay, not to sit there and say Scott does not, you know, make his money, but I mean, there's Scotty's money and then there's Victor's money, and it's not to sit there and say that you know Liesel is about finances, but it's more than that. Um, and I can't help but sit there and think at some point did Victor touch on a point. So Olivia is not happy with Ned's decision. Not so much as, who's more right or who's more wrong, but just about the decision that he made is alienating him from family. And, she brings up Leo. Like, you're not really in good standing with your family, and that will affect Leo. Um, so they go back and forth, and of course, Ned in some ways is kind of showing his true colors. As far as, oh, they're trying to put me out to pasture, and I didn't really like the position that they gave me, and yada 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 yada. And I mean, here's the thing: I don't know if I'm right or if I'm wrong. I just don't see how those two companies joining forces would be beneficial. One deals with media and stuff like that. The other deals with just basic business. And it's not to sit there and say they don't have any sort of ties with, commercials and things of that nature, but it's not a media company. And so even when they were going to join, they were sitting there saying in that, you don't have experience with media. You have experience with business. And that's great. But when it comes towards media, it's not really your thing. I just don't see that really working out. I feel like it would just over time weaken both companies. Um, so anyway, they're talking, they're fighting. Now, granted, Leo's outside and Michael's not there talking. Michael's talking to Dex like, "Oh, Sonny would never see it coming," and Leo's like, "What is Uncle Leo's not? What is Uncle Sonny not going to see coming?" So of course, Michael lies or whatever. They talk about Ned and how everyone is upset with Ned and stuff like that. And Michael's gonna sit there and take him out to, I guess, cut apples for the horse. But Michael got the call from Sasha, so he headed out. And Leo tried to go by himself to feed the horse, and of course he fell. And he came in there to talk to Olivia and Ned about it. And long story short, you know, Olivia and Ned felt kind of bad because while they're arguing, their son is not talking to them because he feels that they're so upset with each other that he doesn't want to bother them. He doesn't want to bother them. So, long story short, they're just like, listen, we're mad, but at the end of the day, we'll love each other. It was a real good um full house moment, I guess. And finally, because I was almost about to forget, the Anna and Felicia talk. So they're pretty much just talking about Valentin for the most part. Victor walks in, and Victor's like, "Hey, I heard my son's name, so what's good?" And of course, both of them are sniff. They're giving them vibes like kick rocks. Like, what are you here for? Valentin is watching from the window, well, from the door, He comes in there. He comes in there. They start talking for a little bit. Victor, of course, tries to invite himself in there. Both of them just like, nah, we good. So Victor leaves. Valentin comes in there. He's not there talking about a second date. Um, but he gets a phone call. And before they're able to sit there and make any plans, he kind of just leaves. And, Anna's like thinking that there's more than just, like cold feet or whatever. Like there's something that's going on. She also has reservations about being with him because of Victor. Because they both still think that Victor has something to do with Luke's death. And I'm gonna sit there and say in air quotes until we are 100% confirmed that Luke has died. Because one of the many things that I do not like is a death scene that happens off screen. Like I can't stand it. I remember Michael's. We'll sit there and say Michael's first girlfriend that was a stripper. I think her name was Candy. How they killed her off screen. And I remember even reading that in a soap opera digest book. Um, and she was sitting there. I guess she had a photo of like herself like going to the studio for the last time. And just the fact that they killed her off screen. Oh, what happened? It was a construction accident. Yeah, Michael was on the phone talking to her, and then a beam fell on her head. And I'm like, what? Oh, they actually did that with the other. I think this woman was also a stripper. And they had a lot of strippers. I think her name was Candy. But they sort of killed her off screen. I gotta sit there and look that up. I gotta sit there and find that scene because I wanna find that actress for reasons. Um, but I remember that was the second time. I mean, that was the second time that I can sit there and think of that they kind of killed her off screen. I think it had something to do with Anthony Sakara. Anyway, I'm not exactly a fan of off-screen deaths. I was like, where am I going with this story? I'm not a fan of off-screen deaths. So they're talking about that, and Anna just has a funny feeling like there's something that's going on with Valentine. And of course, Valentine shows up at Victor's hotel because they had business to talk, but they couldn't sit there and talk about it at Kelly's. I'm just like, there's so many different places that I can sit there and talk to have a meeting. Why would you have it at Kelly's for in the first place? Hell, even if they weren't there, why even take that chance? Um, I feel like that's about it. I really feel like that's about yeah. I really feel like that's about it. So before I go, so I look at the subscriber count sometimes. Sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down. I think I'm at 945, and I can't even believe I actually got this far. Like when I first started, and I kind of want to make a separate video, so I don't want to get into this too much. When I first started, I just I gotta go back and watch my first video because I know it's a rough first video. Oh my goodness, I remember doing my first video. I remember being pissed. I still have that feeling. This is when Michelle Stanford was Nina and just going off. And I wouldn't even call that a review per se. It's more like an angry rant when I was just pretty much cursing for about a good maybe 10 or 15 minutes. Um, and it's just so wild. And I do want to sit there and thank everyone for watching my videos, just coming along in this journey. Um, your patience, your understanding. Because I know that there's other people that do reviews. Hell, um, one of the people that really got me started was Brock TV. And every time I go in there, sometimes I'll sit there and I watch his videos. And I always sit there and see the subscribers that are also my subscribers. And I want to thank everyone because, even though that you're not there watching his videos, you're still watching my videos. And that does mean the world to me. And I cannot even begin to sit there and tell everyone how grateful I am for watching my videos. I mean, the dude has been doing this for a very, very, very long time. Um, and he's really good at what he does. And for people to sit there and still come to my channel and watch my videos, that means the world to me. Because I'm always thinking trying to grow, I'm always thinking trying to learn, which is why I always sit there and watch a lot of other reviewers, Bach TV, and some other people. Because I always want to sit there and try to get better. So I do want to sit there and thank everyone for just going along this journey, just learning process, me becoming a lot more confident in my videos and not really doing so much second and third and fourth and seventh takes on it. One of the things that one of my best friends said is never get complacent, which is why I'm always out there trying to learn. And well, I want to thank everyone for the tips and stuff like that people give me. Hell, even in the beginning when I started doing my reviews, somebody was like, you should probably like write some notes. It's a lot easier to sit there and do it when you can remember a lot more things. And this day, that still helps. Which reminds me, at some point, even though I feel like at some point by the end of 2 months, I'm gonna have to get another book. But yeah, I just want to sit there and just to thank everyone, just for coming along this journey. I'm gonna get into more details when I do get when I get to 1,000 subscribers. I want to sit there and do like a little wine thing going on. Because I was like, listen, the last time I did something like that, it was cake. That cake was really good. This time I want to sit there and do wine. So yeah, if anyone thinks of some good wines or whatever, please write down in the comment section below. Um, I feel like I have more to say, but I feel like that's gonna wait until I get to 1,000 subscribers and just make a separate video about that. So yeah, with that being said, I'm gonna go. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And I'll see you in the next video.